The expensive crystal chandelier above the dining table sparkles, but the atmosphere in the room is cold. My father-in-law, Victor, is sitting at the head of the table, cutting his steak with slow, precise movements. He looks like a king presiding over his court. I am sitting next to my husband, Leo, who is staring at his plate as if it contains the most interesting thing in the world. Victor clears his throat, and the room goes silent. He looks directly at me, a smug smile playing on his lips. "Anna, I've been thinking about your little business venture," he says, his voice dripping with fake concern. "It's charming, really. But let's be realistic. A small design firm run from a home office isn't a career. It's a hobby. I've decided to help you out. I've arranged for you to take a junior position at my friend's logistics company. You start on Monday." My heart stops, and the fork in my hand feels heavy. He didn't ask me. He didn't even consult Leo. He just decided. I feel a wave of heat rush to my face. He isn't offering help. He is trying to shut down the company I worked 3 years to build. I look at Leo, waiting for him to say something. He knows how hard I've worked. He knows about the sleepless nights and the hundreds of emails I've sent to potential clients. But Leo just clears his throat and takes a sip of his water. "Dad is just looking out for us, Anna," he says softly, refusing to meet my eyes. "Things have been a bit tight lately, and a steady salary would be good for our future." I feel a sharp sting of betrayal. Leo isn't just staying quiet. He is siding with Victor. Victor nods, looking satisfied with himself. "Exactly. We need to think about the family legacy. We can't have people thinking my daughter-in-law is just playing around with sketches all day while the rest of us do real work." He laughs, and his wife joins in, a high, tinkling sound that feels like glass cutting my skin. They are talking about me as if I am not even in the room. They see me as a burden, a little girl playing dress-up in a professional world. They have no idea that my little hobby has just reached a level they can't even imagine. I take a slow breath, trying to keep my voice steady. "Victor, I appreciate the thought, but my firm is doing well. I'm not interested in a logistics position," I say. The room goes even colder. Victor sets his knife down with a loud clatter. His eyes narrow, and the fake warmth vanishes. "You're being ungrateful, Anna. This isn't a request. I've already told my friend you would be there. My word is my bond in this city, and I won't have you embarrassing me because of some delusional dream." He leans forward, his presence filling the room. "You will close your office by Friday. I've already told the landlord of your studio space that you won't be renewing the lease. Since I own that building through a subsidiary, I've taken the liberty of starting the eviction process for you." My blood runs cold. He didn't just find me a job. He actively destroyed my workspace behind my back. He thinks he has me trapped. He thinks that by taking away my physical office, he is taking away my power. He has no idea that my business doesn't live in a building. This isn't the first time Victor has tried to control my life. Since the day I married Leo, he has treated me like a project that needs to be fixed. He tried to pick our house, he tried to manage our wedding budget, and he even tried to tell me how to dress for social events. He believes that because he has money, he has the right to own the people around him. I used to think he was just being protective of Leo, but I realize now that it is about power. He hates anything he can't control, and my independent success is a threat to his authority. He wants me to be a quiet, obedient wife who depends on his generosity. He wants to be the sun that our world revolves around. For 3 years I played along to keep the peace. I smiled at his jokes and thanked him for his unsolicited advice. But today, he crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. He tried to kill my dream to feed his ego. I look at him across the table and realize that the man I thought was my family is actually my biggest enemy. After dinner, I go into the kitchen to clear the plates. I need to get away from the suffocating air of the dining room. Leo follows me looking guilty. He tries to put his arm around me, but I pull away. "How could you let him do that, Leo? He evicted me." He's trying to force me into a job I hate. I whisper, my voice trembling with anger. Leo sighs and rubs his face. Anna, you have to understand. My dad has a lot of influence. If you fight him, he'll make things impossible for both of us. Just take the job for a few months. Once he's happy, we can figure something else out. I look at my husband and see a man who is terrified of his own father. He would rather watch me suffer than face Victor's wrath. I'm not taking the job, Leo. And I'm not closing my business, I say firmly. He looks at me like I'm crazy. But the office, the lease. I just shake my head and walk past him. I have a secret that even Leo doesn't know yet. And it's time to use it. The next morning I wake up early and head to my studio. I have 3 days before the eviction Victor ordered. I walk through the space I've spent years building. The walls are covered in my sketches, and the shelves are filled with fabric samples. This place represents my independence. I open my laptop and log into my private server. 2 weeks ago, I received an email from a major international hotel chain. They had seen my work on a small boutique project and wanted me to design the interiors for their new flagship resort in the Caribbean. It is a multi-million-dollar contract, the kind that changes a career forever. I haven't told anyone because I wanted to make sure the contracts were signed and the first payment was cleared. I checked my bank account. The initial deposit of $500,000 hit this morning. I'm not a struggling artist anymore. I am a major player in the industry. Victor thinks he's evicting a tenant, but he's actually kicking out the person who is about to become more successful than he is. I spend the day packing only my most essential files and my laptop. I don't need the physical space anymore. The hotel chain has already offered me a dedicated office in their headquarters as part of the deal. I feel a strange sense of excitement as I wrap my favorite drafting table in plastic. Victor thinks he is cutting off my oxygen, but he is actually pushing me toward a much bigger world. I receive a text from Leo. Dad wants to see the signed resignation from your firm by 5 p.m. Please just do it. I don't reply. Instead, I called my lawyer and asked him to prepare a formal response to the eviction notice. We aren't going to fight it. We are going to accept it, but on my terms. I want Victor to think he has won until the very last second. I want the fall to be as long and painful as possible for him. He loves an audience, so I will give him one. I decided to host a farewell dinner for the family on Friday night. The rest of the week is a blur of activity. I move my operations to the new corporate office provided by the hotel chain. It is sleek, modern, and twice the size of my old studio. My new team is already getting started on the preliminary designs. Every time I see the hotel's logo, I feel a surge of pride. I am no longer Anna, the girl with the hobby. I am Anna, the lead designer for the Azure Resort. I keep this entire transformation a secret from Leo. I want to see if he will stand by me when he thinks I have nothing left. Sadly, he spends the week talking about how lucky I am that Victor's friend is giving me a chance. He even buys me a boring gray suit for my new logistics job. It's a physical symbol of how little he understands me. He wants me to fit into the small box Victor built for me. I hide the suit in the back of the closet and focus on my blueprints. The trap is set, and Victor is walking right into it. Friday evening arrives, and the atmosphere at Victor's house is festive. He thinks tonight is a celebration of his victory over me. He has invited several of his business associates, including the friend who is supposed to be my new boss. Victor is wearing his most expensive watch and holding a glass of aged scotch. He beams at me when I walk in. Ah, Anna. Looking sharp. I trust the office is packed and the keys are ready. I give him a polite, empty smile. The office is empty, Victor. Just like you wanted. He claps me on the back, a heavy, patronizing gesture. Good girl. You see, Leo. Sometimes women just need a little direction from someone who knows how the world works. Leo smiles weakly, looking relieved that the conflict seems to be over. The guests chuckle, and I feel a wave of disgust. They all see me as a trophy that has finally been polished. They have no idea that the direction I'm headed in is far away from all of them. We sit down for dinner, and the talk is all about Victor's latest successes. He loves to brag about his influence in the city. I tell you, it's all about leverage, he tells his friend Mr. Barnaby, the logistics CEO. You have to know when to squeeze and when to let go. With Anna here, she just needed to see that her path was a dead end. Now, she'll be an asset to your team, Barnaby. Barnaby nods and looks at me with a pitying look. We'll start you in the filing department, dear. It's good to learn the business from the ground up. I take a sip of wine and smile. That's very kind, Mr. Barnaby. But I think there's been a misunderstanding. I won't be starting on Monday. The table goes silent. Victor's smile falters, and his eyes get that dangerous glint again. Anna, we talked about this. Don't start making a scene in front of my guests. I set my glass down slowly. I'm not making a scene, Victor. I'm making an announcement. Victor's face begins to turn a deep, angry red. I told you your lease is terminated. You have no office, no clients, and no choice, he growls, his voice dropping to a low, threatening tone. The guests look uncomfortable, shifting in their seats. Leo reaches for my hand under the table, whispering, Anna, stop it. Not now. I pull my hand away and stand up. Actually, Victor, you're right about one thing. My old office is gone. But that's because I've moved into the corporate suite at the international headquarters of the Sterling Group. I didn't close my business. I scaled it. Victor laughs, a harsh, mocking sound. The Sterling Group. They don't deal with people like you. They only work with top-tier firms. Stop lying to save face. I reach into my bag and pull out a folder. I'm not lying, Victor. I've signed a 5-year contract to be their lead interior designer for the Caribbean expansion. Here is the signed deal, and here is the confirmation of the first deposit. I slide the papers across the table toward him. Victor snatches the papers, his hands shaking with fury. He scans the documents, his eyes darting back and forth. His friend Barnaby leans over to look too. The room is so quiet I can hear the ticking of the clock in the hallway. Victor's face goes from red to a pale, sickly white. This can't be real, he whispers. This is the Sterling Group seal. This is the CEO's signature. Barnaby looks at me with wide eyes, his patronizing attitude vanishing instantly. Anna, you're the one who landed the Azure Resort project. I nod calmly. Yes. And as the lead designer, I also have the final say on the logistics and shipping partners for the entire construction phase. It's a $20 million shipping contract. I look directly at Barnaby. I was going to consider your company, but after tonight, I've decided to go with your competitor. Barnaby's jaw drops. He looks at Victor with a mix of shock and anger. Victor has just cost his friend the biggest deal of his life by trying to humiliate me. Victor slams his hand on the table, the silver rattling. You tricked me. You let me evict you just to make me look like a fool, he screams, his mask of sophistication finally shattered. I didn't trick you, Victor, I say, my voice cold and clear. You evicted me because you wanted to destroy me. You didn't even check who my potential clients were because you didn't believe I could have any. You were so blinded by your need to control me that you didn't notice I was outgrowing you. The guests are staring at Victor now, seeing him not as a powerful leader, but as a small-minded bully who just ruined a massive business opportunity for everyone at the table. Leo is staring at me as if he's seeing a stranger. Anna, you really did it, he asks, his voice filled with a mix of awe and shame. I look at my husband and feel nothing but a cold distance. I did it, Leo. No thanks to you. I turn back to Victor. And by the way, I bought that studio building you evicted me from this morning. Your subsidiary was desperate for cash, so my firm bought the whole property. The silence that follows is the most satisfying sound I've ever heard. Victor looks like he's about to have a heart attack. He has lost his leverage, his prestige, and now he realized he sold his own property to the woman he tried to ruin. He sinks into his chair, looking small and defeated. His wife is staring at her plate, unable to look at anyone. The great Victor is gone, replaced by a man who was outsmarted by the person he mocked. Barnaby stands up, his face tight. Victor, I think I should go. We have a lot to talk about regarding our partnership. The other guests follow him, making hurried excuses as they flee the room. They don't want to be near the radioactive fallout of Victor's failure. Within minutes, the dining room is empty except for the three of us. The expensive candles are still burning, but the party is over. I feel a sense of freedom so intense it's almost overwhelming. I am no longer part of this legacy. I am the one who built my own. Leo looks at me, his eyes pleading. Anna, please. Let's talk about this. I didn't know the deal was that big. If I had known, I would have supported you. I look at him and feel a deep sadness. That's the problem, Leo. You only support me when you think I'm winning. You were willing to let your father destroy my life because it was easier for you. You didn't care about my dream. You only cared about your comfort. He tries to reach for my hand, but I stand up and walk away. I'm moving my things out of the house tonight, Leo. I've already booked a suite at the Sterling Hotel. He stands up looking panicked. You can't leave. We're married. I turn at the door and look at him one last time. A marriage is a partnership, Leo. You were a silent partner in my destruction. I'm signing a new deal now, and it doesn't include you. I walk out of the house, the cool night air hitting my face like a blessing. I don't look back at the mansion or the man inside. My future is waiting for me. I spend the first few days at the Sterling Hotel feeling a strange mix of relief and exhaustion. My phone is constantly buzzing with calls from Leo and Victor. Victor has moved from anger to desperation. He sent an email offering to merge our interests and handle my business development. He still thinks he can find a way to control the situation. I delete the email without responding. I am busy setting up the final details for the resort project. My team is growing, and the excitement in the office is contagious. I realize that the gray suit Leo bought me is still in my car. I take it out and drop it at a donation bin on my way to a meeting. I am wearing a custom-tailored navy suit today, the kind that makes people stand up when I walk into a room. I am no longer the girl in the basement. I am the woman at the top of the tower. I have never felt more alive. My career isn't just a hobby. It's a force of nature. A week later, I am in a high-level meeting with the Sterling Group executives when my assistant tells me that Victor is in the lobby, demanding to see me. I consider having security remove him, but then I decide against it. I want him to see me in my new environment. I tell her to bring him up to the conference room. When the doors open, Victor looks older, his expensive suit looking a bit wrinkled. He looks around the sleek high-tech office with a look of awe and envy. I stay seated at the head of the glass table, surrounded by my team and the Sterling executives. Victor, I say calmly. To what do I owe the visit? He clears his throat, looking uncomfortable under the gaze of the powerful people in the room. Anna, I think we should talk in private. It's about the family. I look at my team and then back at him. These people are my family now, Victor. If you have something to say, say it here. He hesitates, his pride clearly stinging, but he knows he has no power here. Victor takes a deep breath and tries to put on his business voice. I've heard that you're looking for a local contractor for the resort's foundation work. My construction firm is the best in the city. I thought we could keep the business in the family. It would be a win-win for everyone. I can't help but smile. He is begging for a contract from the woman he tried to evict 10 days ago. Victor, your firm is competent, but your reputation for leverage and control makes you a liability for a project of this scale. We need partners who value transparency and respect. I see his jaw tighten, but he stays quiet. I've already awarded the contract to a smaller firm that has much higher ethical standards. In fact, I'm planning to buy out your main supplier next month. It's all about leverage, right? The executives at the table chuckle, and Victor's face turns a bright, humiliated red. He realizes that I haven't just succeeded. I am actively dismantling the world he used to rule. He turns and walks out without a word. After Victor leaves, the meeting continues, but I find it hard to focus. I feel a sense of closure that is almost physical. I have faced the man who tried to own me and shown him that I am the one with the power now. I look out the window at the city skyline and realize that I've grown more in the last 2 weeks than in the last 3 years. I am no longer afraid of being difficult or unsubmissive. I am a leader, a designer, and a woman who knows her worth. I receive a final text from Leo. I told my dad he was wrong. I'm moving out of the mansion too. Can we talk? I look at the message for a long time. I hope he does move out. I hope he finds his own voice. But I know that our paths have diverged too much for us to ever find each other again. I delete the message and turn back to my blueprints. I have a resort to build, and I don't have time for people who only believe in me when it's convenient. The following months are the busiest of my life. I spend my time flying between the city and the Caribbean, overseeing every detail of the resort's construction. I am working with the best craftsmen and architects in the world. My designs are coming to life in a way that is even more beautiful than I imagined. I am featured on the cover of a major design magazine, titled The New Face of Global Luxury. I am no longer defined by my marriage or my father-in-law's shadow. I am an individual with a global reputation. I hear through the grapevine that Victor's business is struggling. Without the influence he used to wield, his partners are moving on to more modern, ethical firms. His legacy is crumbling, while mine is just beginning to rise. I don't feel joy in his failure. I just feel a deep sense of justice. The world is finally seeing people for who they really are. 1 year later, I am standing on the balcony of the completed Azure Resort. The turquoise water of the Caribbean stretches out before me, and the sun is setting in a blaze of orange and pink. The resort is breathtaking, a perfect blend of modern luxury and natural beauty. It is the physical manifestation of my hard work and my refusal to give up. Tonight is the grand opening gala, and the guest list includes the world's elite. I am wearing a stunning gold gown, feeling like a queen in a kingdom I built myself. As I look out at the guests, I see a familiar face in the crowd. It is Leo. He looks older, but he has a new spark in his eyes. He is working for a small environmental nonprofit now, finally doing something he cares about instead of what Victor wanted. He catches my eye and gives me a small, respectful nod. Nod back. We're both free now. I walk down the grand staircase into the ballroom, and the room erupts in applause. The CEO of the Sterling Group stands at the podium and introduces me as the visionary who made this project possible. I give a short speech about the importance of following your own path and never letting anyone tell you that your dreams are too small. As I speak, I think about that cold dinner at Victor's house. I think about the gray suit and the eviction notice. I realize that those moments were the fuel that drove me to where I am today. I am grateful for the struggle because it taught me that I am stronger than any shadow. I finish my speech and the room stays standing for a long time. I am no longer the girl who was told she didn't have a career. I am the woman who changed the industry. My father-in-law tried to control my career, but he didn't realize that I was already building a world he could never reach. The party continues late into the night. I am surrounded by people who respect my work and value my vision. I talk to investors, journalists, and other designers, feeling a sense of belonging that I never felt in Victor's world. I realize that success isn't just about the money or the fame. It's about the freedom to be yourself. I have created a life where I don't have to apologize for my ambition or hide my strength. I am exactly where I am supposed to be. As I walk through the resort, I see the details I spent months obsessing over. The custom tiles, the hand-woven fabrics, the perfect lighting. Every corner of this place tells a story of perseverance. I feel a deep sense of peace. The war is over and I won. I am no longer a pawn in someone else's game. I am the one who wrote the rules. I take a moment to sit by the edge of the infinity pool, looking up at the stars. The air is warm and smells of sea salt and hibiscus. I think about the girl I was 3 years ago, sitting in that small basement studio, hoping for a break. I wish I could tell her that everything is going to be okay. I wish I could tell her that her hobby is going to become a legacy. I realize that the most important deal I ever signed wasn't with a Sterling Group. It was with myself. I promised never to let anyone else define my value. I look at my reflection in the water and see a woman who is confident, successful, and truly happy. I have outgrown the small world of Victor's control and stepped into a universe of my own making. I am the lead designer of my own life, and the view is spectacular. The next morning, I wake up to the sound of the ocean. I have a meeting with a new client from London, and then I'm flying to Paris for a design award ceremony. My life is a whirlwind of creativity and growth. I receive an email from Victor's lawyers, asking for a meeting to discuss restitution for the business losses I caused him. I forward it to my legal team with a one-sentence instruction. Tell them I'm busy building the future. I close my laptop and head down to the beach for a quick swim before my day starts. The water is cool and clear, and I feel refreshed and ready for whatever comes next. I am no longer defined by the man who tried to hold me back. I am defined by the deals I've signed, the buildings I've designed, and the person I've become. The hobby is now a global empire, and the great Victor is just a memory in a world that moved on without him.